Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm back. Yes, I am back. I hope you all had a good Memorial Day weekend. I actually spent 4 days camping on the actual East Coast. Uh, I discovered a few things. I think I became desensitized to these news stories. If you watch my channel, you know my routine. I get up about before 2 a.m. and I go through the news stories to find something interesting to talk about that you guys might be interested in. And for 4 days, 4 blessed, beautiful days, I had no idea what was going on in the world. Not a clue. I was curious. I was very curious about the debt ceiling is one thing that's on my mind. I can't believe this whole country is getting to the level of being a deadbeat country, and just two sides can't get along, and they're holding the senior citizens, the Social Security recipients hostage over this. That just, it puts a lump in my stomach. Let's talk about that. I started looking through the stories last night as I laid down to go to sleep to get a head start on this morning. And all of a sudden I realized something. All of a sudden it was just bad stories. It was just, stories of hate and violence and, you know what's in the news. And all of a sudden I thought, is there more of this? And I realized there's not more of it. I had just become desensitized to it. I had been looking through this every day, day and night, and I didn't realize how much bad stuff is out there. But I'm back in it, and here I am. And there's something I want to talk about. This whole Target thing. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I think my personal opinion is we're being played against each other. I think that's a big part of this. I think somewhere, someone or a bunch of someones want us to just go at each other. This is something I'm going to talk about. Let me get to that more in a second. Let me talk about myself first. If you've heard this before, I apologize. I got to lay down my background for people that don't know. I am a straight guy. I'm a straight guy. Let me say this too. People are born gay and they're born straight. Their children are not turned gay by drag queens or anything like that. People are born left-handed, they're born right-handed. They're born blue-eyed, they're born brown-eyed. They're born homosexual, they're born heterosexual. This is a fact. This is what I believe 100%. People are not turned gay. Now that leads me to the next uncomfortable thing that I'm going to have to talk about myself if you don't know about me. My dad died when I was 9 from brain cancer. About a year or two later, my mother started dating a cop. And he started sexually molesting me. He did that from the time I was 10 years old till I was 15 years old. I got involved in drinking and drug use. I became a full-blown heroin and crack cocaine addict. And I was about 39 years old when I finally told my mother, my family, what had happened to me. It wasn't a drag queen. It wasn't a gay person, turned me gay. It wasn't a trans person. It was a good old, I'm not saying anything against, Irish people, but it was a good old Irish, big old Irish, lovable cop who grabbed me by the crotch and asked a 10-year-old boy, how's the stem of your stinger, Daryl? When my mother wasn't around. And then did much, much worse. Stuff that would curl your freaking hair to me. For 5 years until I stopped it myself when I was 15 years old with a baseball bat and a pair of Chucks. But that's another story. And I could identify this guy too. I said his name is Patrick Butler. He was a cop in Watertown, Connecticut. He's dead now. I could even identify his privates. That's one of the things that made me comfortable. I was scared coming out about what had happened to me. Because the biggest thing was people wouldn't believe me, or somehow it would be my fault, even as I got older. But I got a way too good view of his privates, and they were unusual privates, and there's no way I should know what my mother's boyfriend's privates look like. I'm talking about moles and veins and stuff, weird stuff. And I got the receipts, man. Anyway. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Target for a second. I think we're being played on some of this. Okay, Ethan Schmidt-Crockett. He's in the news a lot lately. We all know what happened with Bud Light, right? Bud Light, Kid Rock shoots the Bud Light. Oh, because Mulvaney. Because this thing I don't get. These people love their freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, but they don't. It's only if it's their kind of freedom of speech or their kind of religion. It's not how it works, guys. That's not how this works. I can't believe some people have so much time on their hands that they have to go around and get angry or get all upset about gay people and then go hide behind the children or God. I'm going to talk about God in a second too, because I realized something else. Because a lot of these people hide, it's the devil, it's Satanist, it's against God, it's in the Bible. No, it's not in the Bible. And there's something more that really made me question this. Let's talk about this whole Target thing. Ethan Schmidt-Crockett. He's become the poster boy over the last 5 days. I've got the links down below. Okay, New York Post, TMZ, and I'll have those links right down below, and there's a few others that have these big headlines. Ooh, guy trashes Target display, and it's got a picture of Ethan Schmidt-Crockett. And this guy is such a dork. This guy has obviously got issues. Honestly, I have no doubt that this guy has latent homosexual tendencies that I'll get into that more in a second. So he strolls, there's a video of him and he's walking like this, like a big dork. It's almost, if it wasn't so sad and hateful, it'd be funny. And he walks in with his arms swinging and his dopey mustache, and this is it's so ridiculous. He punches a cardboard sign. Ooh, that'll teach him. And he picks up the cardboard sign, throws it. This is so, I can't even believe I'm talking about this. And he steps on it. And then some woman says, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Don't wreck this place. And he says, it's Satan, it's evil, the children. If it wasn't, I swear to God, if this wasn't so ridiculous, it'd be hilarious. This guy is such a dork that has obvious issues. Let me talk about this a little more. First of all, I went to Twitter, and I did videos about this guy before, Ethan Schmidt-Crockett. And I could swear I saw this exact Target video. This didn't happen. I'm 99.9% sure this happened like 2 or 3 years ago. Yet, all these New York Post, TMZ, if you read the article, they're not saying when it happened. They got these big headlines. The hate is palpable, says TMZ. It's one of the headline stories. Him marching through Target. But they don't say when it happened. They talk about the whole thing with Budweiser, the current events, Budweiser, now Target, and supposedly trans wear for kids. Who cares? Seriously. If you are upset and worried about what kids' underwear looks like, and especially if you don't even have kids, man, there's something wrong with you, not wrong with the kids. Seriously. China's going to Thailand. Russia's going to the Ukraine. So millions of Social Security recipients that paid their entire lives in their 70s aren't going to get their checks in a few days. And you're worried about what some kid's underwear looks like? Seriously? And then you babble about freedom. And then, on top of all this, you babble about cancel culture. Oh, I'm against cancel culture. The liberals and their cancel culture. What do you call this? What do you call the Budweiser? You are the biggest bunch of freaking hypocrites. Okay, let's get back to this. So this video, and then people on Twitter realize this too. If you look on Twitter, I think this is what I think happened. Is because people, the news companies got a whiff of the Bud Light thing. It was a big story. They got a whiff of the Target thing. They went to find video. We got to find video. We got to find pictures. The only thing they could find was Ethan Schmidt-Crockett from 2 years ago. They posted up, put a new headline on it like it just happened yesterday. And I don't think don't get me wrong, because Ethan Schmidt-Crockett is still active. There's links down below where he got arrested in Arizona at a bookstore. He got arrested harassing people here, there, about masks, about books, about kids' underwear. Seriously, first of all, America is the land of the free. Why are you so freaking concerned with somebody's doing to somebody else in their bedroom? Why are you so concerned about what some other parent's child is wearing for underwear? Seriously, there's something wrong with you. Okay, then I started reading the story. There'll be a link down below too. That there were, I gotta be careful how I say this. There were threats, like boom kind of threats, right? And they looked into them. At first, they called this a false flag. At first, it looked like people, because Target didn't want to go down the same road as Bud, so it appears they're saying that Target's backed off. They're worried about their employees, so they're backed off the Pride merchandise. So this letter pops up, supposedly from the LGBTQ community, claiming threats. It's in like 3 different states. But it turns out these threats came from somewhere overseas. It's a false flag. And I thought about that too. People that, like gay people, bi people, are about love. They're just, I don't really think they have the time to go around threatening and it doesn't seem consistent with the way they're living their life, threatening Target. It didn't sound right it just didn't sound right at all. And it turns out, so you start to get the picture where New York Post and TMZ bring up this story from 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, this is happening right now. This is happening at Target. And then you get a bunch of people siding on this side, and fighting at each other. That's what you have. You have this thing now with these threats. Somebody is playing us against each other. And then you start thinking about this. Target stock starts to tank. Budweiser's stock starts to tank. The nation's stock market starts to tank. You see where I'm going with this? I think a lot of us we're being played against each other, and it's working. That's the sad thing is it's working. One last thing I want to talk about. Ethan Schmidt. Let me talk directly. God, I pray that Ethan Schmidt-Crockett, you watch this, because I have a very important question for you. You seem so concerned. You're a good Christian man. I could tell that. With the way you march in that store and everything, and stomp on that evil cardboard sign, punch it. Oh, man. Okay, let me ask you this question. You're always talking, in the video, you talk about devil and Satan, and how come you're not going after actual Satanists, like gang members? I've been on that side of life. 20 years a drug addict, and I've met Satanists, a lot of gang members, a lot of people in prison. Why aren't you going after the actual Satanists? Why don't I see you marching up to a guy with tattoos all over his face, upside down crosses, and lecturing him about Satan? He seems a lot more evil than a rainbow colored sign in Target. So geez. Why aren't you going after the real source? It seems like the source of the thorn in your side. Why aren't you going after that? Well, A, either you don't have the balls and you're kind of scared and you're picking a soft target. That's A. Or B, you're still in the closet yourself and it's some kind of self issue. And I think it's kind of a little of both. Ethan Schmidt-Crockett. Please, God, somebody show this to Ethan Schmidt-Crockett, because I need an answer for this. You guys, I'll be back later. I got so much to talk about. Have a good Tuesday.